After 10 long years of anguish, the family of Kentucky native Paige Johnson is celebrating the arrest of the person they believe is responsible for Paige's murder.
And now he has to, and everyone knows what I've known all along. I've been waiting for this day for almost 10 years, and it's a very happy day.
The family says from the day Paige went missing on September 23, 2010, at the age of 17, they've suspected the person who last saw her, Jacob Bumpus.
I filled up with so much joy when I found out he was arrested, because I've known from the very first day that he knew where she was and he wouldn't cooperate with us.
The only way that I know how to explain it is like a complete and total state of euphoria. I'm just so elated that he's finally been arrested, because we've always known from the beginning that he was guilty, but we could never call him a suspect.
Paige disappeared after going to a party with Jacob Bumpus 10 years ago. After the party, Bumpus says he dropped Paige off at this intersection in Covington. Paige was never heard from again, leaving her family and her then 2-year-old to wonder what happened to her.
Mr. Bumpus's cell phone never pinged off of any tower in downtown Covington. So there's no indication, at least, that his cell phone ever went to the area of 15th and Scott, where he claimed to have dropped Paige Johnson off.
While his story troubled investigators for years, Bumpus was never charged.
No one has been honest with police about their interactions with Mr. Bumpus, what he said, what he may have told them, where he may have been. His own family, his friends, his relatives have all thwarted police investigations at a number of different turns.
The case went cold, leaving Johnson's family to worry and wonder. Finally, in March, after nearly 10 years since she was last seen, Johnson's mother got the call.
I've been wanting to bring my baby home for so long, and now I get to.
Ohio's Claremont County Sheriff's Office said they were contacted by a person who said they found human remains in a wooded area. Police said Johnson's body was found near Williamsburg Township in the neighboring state of Ohio, about 30 miles east of where she was last seen. Investigators say they arrested Jacob Bumpus July 28th in Claremont County, Ohio, for tampering with evidence and abuse of a corpse.
The tampering charge carries a possible penalty of up to 3 years in prison, and the abuse of a corpse charge carries a possible punishment of up to 1 year in prison. So Mr. Bumpus is facing up to a total of 4 years.
Officials say the case is still under investigation.
It is obviously possible that additional charges could come in the future, and certainly, if appropriate, and if the evidence ultimately develops, it would be our hope that someday we can pursue a homicide charge.
The family is hoping more charges are coming.
And he put us through so much pain. And I'm so thankful to God that he got the cuffs put on him and got put behind those bars.
All right, cause and manner of death are going to be virtually impossible to figure out based upon forensic examination of what remains they found, right? 10 years old. I mean, it's going to be difficult. But there are cases prosecuted where bodies are never, ever even recovered. So let's bring in our think tank and figure out exactly what's going on here. Dave Ehrenberg, state attorney down in Palm Beach County, Florida. You can prosecute someone for murder without a body. So how do you do it in this case? I mean, they say they have got enough for tampering and abuse of a corpse, so they've got to place him near where the body was found and place him near where she was last seen. Can't we make the next logical step, the next logical leap to murder here?
I think, Vinny, you need to go back to those witnesses who lied to police and now say the gig is up and say a body was found. And hopefully they will tell the truth this time. You need their testimony, I think, to really get him on the murder charge. It seems like they were there to protect him. And so I'm hopeful that their minds will change. One good thing is that if you're able to charge him with murder, you could also go back and charge those people with perjury, because if you have perjury related to a capital case, there is no statute of limitations. So hopefully someone will speak up. But as a prosecutor, I can tell you that it is unusual to charge someone with tampering with a corpse, tampering with evidence, and not charge him with the murder, because how would he have access to the corpse unless he was involved with the murder? And one last thing, Vinny, just as an aside, I was looking at the interview with the district attorney. He was in an office like this with the flags behind him, but if you notice, he had a bottle of scotch also in his bookshelf. I guess they do things differently in Kentucky.
Very fascinating. Oh, you know, they do make I think it was bourbon, so that makes sense in Kentucky.
Probably.
Good observations. Rick King, let me ask you. You're a former police lieutenant, right? You've investigated cases like this, but now you do some defense work. So which job would you rather have here, trying to solve the murder or defending someone like Bumpus with the level of evidence that exists today?
You know, I fancy myself on the side of justice no matter which chair I'm sitting in. So in this particular case, while you can't help feeling terrible for the family, this was a tragedy and just an awful set of circumstances. I don't know that, based on what I've been able to look into the case, there's just not a lot of evidence. I mean, they're basing right now, from what I've read, they're basing the case on an event that didn't occur. In other words, he didn't ping at that corner where he said he dropped her off. And that's the evidence that they've released so far. And somehow they must have something that ties him to that body 30 miles east of where that intersection is. But they don't talk about evidence that they do have. So at this point, knowing you never know what you don't know, but I don't know anything about this case right now in terms of what evidence they may or may not have. So if you're handing me this case and you're looking for me and I'm looking to prevail on the side of justice, at this point, I don't think that they have enough.
Lara Yeretsian, I'm wondering if they're going to try this case, see what happens, try to get him locked up for 4 years, bide a little time, and wait for somebody to talk. Because people have been silent for 10 years, but maybe a conviction puts a little more pressure on him, and if he's locked up, maybe witnesses feel a little bit safer coming forward. Is that possible?
It's possible, because I agree with my colleague. There's clearly not enough evidence here, not today. And this does buy them the time, because I was thinking about it myself. Why charge him with these two felony charges, and the most they can get is 4 years of custody time? But then at the same time, I agree with you. Yes, it buys them time. It buys them time to do their investigation, to amass more evidence against him, and hopefully someone would be coming forward and telling us what really happened. That's assuming he is the guy who perpetrated this crime. Now, it's possible that he didn't. It's also possible that the ping evidence is not necessarily accurate. I mean, there's ways of fighting cell site information. They're not always accurate. They're not perfect. It's not perfect science. So anyone can argue that maybe it was off as far as the exact address, or the evidence or the ping or the cell site information is just not accurate. So we may not even have the right guy. I know everybody, and it's really sad. I mean, I could hear the emotion in the mother's voice and the sisters and the elation that they feel, but there's the possibility that they don't have the right guy. I don't see the evidence, at least not yet.